So next on stage, we have Hjalti and Tryggvi from Datera speaking about whether Chat-GPT is a friend or a foe, the future of SEO and content writing and travel. Hjalti and Tryggvi, please.
Thank you. Nice to see you all here today, and thank you Iceland Travel Tech for inviting us. This is an extremely important event and platform for the travel industry in Iceland, and we truly hope to see it grow even further and prosper in the future. Is Chat-GPT a friend or a foe? That's a big question. The future of SEO and content writing in travel. That's what we are going to talk about today. But first, who are these two guys? You might be thinking, my name is Hjalti Einarsson. I've worked in the travel industry since 2009. I was the CMO for 12 years for one of the biggest travel companies here in Iceland. 2 years ago, I joined Datera as a partner and business development manager, mainly focusing on clients working on international level. The other guy standing here is Tryggvi Freyr Elínason. He is the founder of Datera. Tryggvi is a deep dive nerd in a very positive way when it comes to marketing technology and has been for over 20 years. I sit next to him at the office every day, and I don't know how many times he has said to me, "Oh my God, Hjalti, you need to see this." And this is when he has found some amazing new technology, stuff that he wants to tell me everything about, literally everything. And one of these "oh my God" moments happened a while ago when he told me almost everything about AI and Chat-GPT. So Tryggvi, the big question, what is it exactly?
Well, thank you for a lovely introduction, Hjalti. Just so we're all on the same page, because artificial intelligence, it's a large term, so we all have the same understanding of what that actually means. I got my friend Davies to do a quick refresher for you all.
Artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is basically an umbrella term used for any computer system that is designed to mimic human behavior. And most of you here, not just the Datera guys, are already using AI in some capacity in your daily lives and jobs. By the way, I'm not a real person, but only an AI tool reading whatever these pricks wrote. But please, continue.
Thank you, Davies, my grumpy friend in the cloud. So basically what he's saying, it's a very, very large umbrella term. And for the longest time for me, the intelligence part was really a misnomer, because how we built it in the past, it's usually super specific, super focused, tightly focusing on some specific things that we're trying to solve. So it's not really intelligence, because it's not really going out of the box or going out of its way to do anything extra in addition to what it's specifically designed for. So AI, I don't know. However, we're using it daily in our lives, almost everywhere, without even realizing it. It's all over the place, whether we are aware of it or not. We're using it for all sorts of automation, machine learnings, various optimization, using triggers to do, turn on something, send something out, etc., etc., etc. Some of you might be aware of it, some of you might be absolutely clueless about it, but nonetheless, it's artificial intelligence. Well, artificial something at least. However, now that we are bringing Chat-GPT into the sphere, that really changes everything. Because even though AI is nothing new to the travel space or marketing in general, Chat-GPT is a totally different thing. Because it is a natural language generating system, it means that you can actually go back and forth discussing something. You can take something and iterate it again and again and again and again and again, making it really, really, really clever. And the latest version, the 4.0 version of Chat-GPT specifically, is just nothing short of astounding. It has a 10 times data training model compared to its previous versions. And every single day, it just never ceases to amaze me what it can actually do. But it still brings us back to the question, is it intelligent though? Turns out, we actually, or scientists actually agree on what is intelligence. It's basically based on 5 or 6 key things. So we can actually ask ourselves, well, if Chat-GPT can do these things, then it is actually intelligent. Things like reasoning, which, oh my God, yes, it can. I have more fights with this than most of my friends. And it's better at reasoning than many of them. It can also plan in some capacity. It's more or less like me. It doesn't really plan ahead, just runs, because it doesn't really think ahead. It's a generating machine, so it just starts generating. But in the 4.0, and that's why it's a yellow X, not a red one, it stops itself and corrects itself and say, oh, I realize I'm on the wrong path here, so it changes direction a little bit. So it's actually getting to a place where it can plan. It can also do things like really abstract thinking, and it can also do something like really complex ideas. So not only can it think inside the box, it can think outside the box. Not only can it understand when I bring something really complex to the table, but more importantly, I can ask it about complex things that I don't even understand, and it can explain it to me like I'm literally a 5-year-old, because it has that understanding of complex ideas. And that really makes it a smart platform. I mean, it's not as smart as a human, but it's getting there very, 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 very fast. And because it is a natural language generating system, the core function is understanding language and its patterns. That's why it probably will have such a huge, huge, huge impact on content and SEO, which is kind of the space that Hjalti has been living in for the, 12, 15 years.
Yeah, so I agree on this. This is, oh my God, this is amazing, this technology. But, travel marketing has undergone profound changes in the past 3 decades, largely due to transformative technologies, such as the internet, Google search, mobile apps, social media, and now AI, and including Chat-GPT. And this has the potential to be game-changing if we use it correctly. Today we're going to focus on content and content writing and SEO in the context of Chat-GPT. And like Tryggvi explained earlier, this tool is a language tool that understands patterns and relationships between words. Therefore, the impact is so heavy on the way we work with content and SEO. So with over a decade of experience in the travel content and SEO area, I believe this domain presents an immense opportunity for businesses within the Icelandic travel industry today. But we need to know how to use it and when to use it. I'm going to show you a few examples on how we are using it, this tool for some of our clients today. And for this presentation, I created a few examples to show you today. The first example I'm going to show you, I created a blog brief, and believe me, I created the blog brief, not Chat-GPT, and I fed it to the Chat-GPT and asked it to read it through for various things. The brief is for a blog post about a waterfall in Iceland. And I'm using here, and I asked the tool to read it for errors, to validate it for keywords, and notify me if anything was missing. And I'm using it here as a sparring partner, asking it to review it. And this is a very cost-effective way, and that's a common theme in the presentations before. We are trying to save manual labor here. And this is saving me time. If I would do the same, I would read through hundreds of similar blog articles out there about this waterfall. Here you can see the answer from the tool, and some of the things the bot suggested made a lot of sense, some of them didn't, and it's up to me to choose the best of it. So overall, it was a good input and good inspiration. The second example, I asked the bot for some ideas for blog articles. I asked it to ideate for a specific topic with a very clear purpose. And actually, when I was creating this example for this presentation, the answer from the bot was surprisingly good. And I'm not going to share it with you, sorry. I'm only going to share a censored version of it, because I'm going to use it. I'm going to use the best of it for some of my clients. There's a really good topic ideas there. So I will probably work on it soon, and I'm sorry about that. I was going to share it. But the point is here, it's very good for brainstorming. It's good for getting inputs, good for ideation. It's a sparring partner, and it can save us hours and hours. So this tool is actually a good productivity tool. The third example, just quickly, I asked the bot to create a page title and meta description for a specific page. It was just a fictive page for this example about flights to Iceland. And I gave the bot very clear instructions on the topic and on the character limit. First, I'm going to show you the 3.5 version, the answer. It was a fairly good page title and meta description, but the meta description was only 139 characters. I asked for max 150, so there's waste of space there. And also the last sentence, and click to find out more. I would not use that in a meta description. So it was a fairly good one. However, when I asked the 4.0 version, I got a much better answer. It was to the point regarding character limit. It shows me the exact characters that he used. So that was really good. So this is a good idea to get ideas and inspiration, time saving for me again, but I would not use this without modifying a bit. So, okay, the tool is not perfect, but it's very, very promising. It's helping us in many ways already today. It's getting better very fast. So I see this domain now as a playground. We are all experimenting with it. We are testing it. We are failing with it. We are finding our space. We are finding our way. So we as marketeers and technologists here, we need to be on the forefront of this development. And the key thing there, again, is we need to know how to use it and when to use it. I want to do just a quick poll. How many in the room here, with raise your hands, are already trying out Chat-GPT in your work?
Oh, everyone.
Almost, yeah, I think so. I think so. But how many are already using it to write blog posts? Okay, and keep your hands up. How many are planning on using it to write blog posts?
Half, maybe.
Yeah, 30, 40, 40%?
40%.
Okay. So when I ask ChatGPT to write a blog post for me, I own that content, right, Tryggvi? It's my content.
It makes sense, theoretically. I mean, you're using the tool, should be your content. Turns out, though, it's not. This is from a recently published paper, close to the end of March, last March, from the US Copyright Office, that clearly states, specifically for this area of technology, that if you use a simple human prompt and AI does all the hard work for you, you don't own that. And you have no copyright to it. Meaning, if Hjalti were to ask the bot to write something for him, he would post it on a client's website. Any one of you could just take that article and repost it without any repercussions, because it isn't subject to any copyright law. That's the bad news part of it, not copyrighted if the AI does the hard work. However, if you do, like we have been doing, we're using it as an assistant, so if Hjalti creates actually the original post and then feeds it to the system and asks it to either rewrite it, structure it, change the tone, sentiment, or some other things, then it turns out it's actually copyrighted because he did the heavy lifting and not the AI. Where does the AI do the heavy lifting and where not, we're still unclear about it. However, we're seeing something that we've never seen before, the US legal system and government entities running faster than ever when it comes to new technology. So we're getting clarity on this much faster than we anticipated, which is really a good thing because this is unclear and we really need it clear as quickly as possible. And this is one of the key kind of risk factors when we're using this technology, and we really need to understand the potential risk factors. But there are other few, I mean there are several others, but there are a few I kind of want to highlight for you today, especially when it comes to travel and the Icelandic travel industry. When it comes to your brand, I mean you know your brand. Your employees know your brand. I mean, it's what you live and breathe. The AI does not. So in most cases, what it spits out will probably not be on brand. So you need to make sure you take that content and modify it so it fits your tone of voice and fits your brand perfectly. There's also the issue of originality. Because it has a fixed set training data, it's only working from that fixed training data, meaning nothing new added and nothing being updated. So it's really just creating more or less a copy of a copy. There's no new originality, even though it's creating a new piece of text based on something else. It's still only a new piece of text based on something else. I can read endless articles on some specific book, but it will be nothing new if I only have to stick to that one book. I can only do that so many times, which takes us to the next point, which has to do with factuality. I know you've all heard it, but just because you read it online doesn't make it true. Well, it turns out just because Chat-GPT has it in its data set doesn't make it true also. So you have to make sure that you fact check whatever it's spitting out. And it's amazingly confidently wrong sometimes. Just really blows my mind sometimes. And these factors and a few others create something that is potentially dangerous if you don't use this correctly, which is an echo chamber. Meaning that if we're basically putting the AI more or less on autopilot, we're not adding anything new, we're not updating the content, we're not in control. It will just spit out copies of copies of copies of copies of copies of copies of copies. See? A downward spiraling quality, downward spiraling everything. So you need to take control. You need to take responsibility. It's your job, it's our job. We need to make sure that we're not putting content out for content's sake. We need to continue what we have been doing, which is putting out fantastic content. I think the Icelandic travel industry really excels compared to many others in terms of quality, and let's not, sorry for the language, make AI fuck that up. The last point, the risk factor that I want to point out, is something that is still in an unknown area because it doesn't really have to do with how we use the tool, but how the tool functions. We don't really know. No one really knows. So we don't really know how it discovers things, how it figures out what's the best answer for any possible question that I might have. And we need to figure this stuff out together, because we need to understand when we allow it to access the internet and all of our tools, how does it make a decision? How can I influence those decisions to make sure that the right answers or my content is popping up for the right questions? But it's not all doom and gloom. I think Hjalti wants to talk about a little bit more on the positive side of things.
Yeah, there are some benefits, there are some opportunities. And let's take a look at some of them. It's not an extensive list, but some of them are quite obvious. Something that has been a common theme here today. Reduction of manual labor, and also the examples that I show you have shown. Also, we can streamline our workflows with this tool in mind. We can reallocate our resources and find out where can Chat-GPT fit in the picture. Cost-benefit ratio, that's also quite obvious with the reduction of manual labor, and the cost-benefit ratio is then quite high. Like I said, this is a productivity tool. This is a great sparring partner, like in the examples I show you. I'm throwing out ideas, I'm throwing out a blog brief, outline of it, and it brings me back really good, some bad inputs. Personalization of content. I can write text that is aimed at a certain audience, for example, adventure seekers, a blog article. I can throw that article to the tool and ask it to rewrite it with another audience in mind, for example, elderly independent travelers. And then content formatting, it can help with schema markup, it can help with headings and titles. It can create a FAQ for me from an article that I wrote. So there are endless opportunities and benefits here. Just briefly about the SEO future-proofing for AI, and Tryggvi mentioned the discoverability, and we are still in the early phases for this section. And here are some key elements regarding SEO that we believe are even more important today because of this tool. Technical fundamentals have to be 100%. The bot has to be able to read your website. That's just a fundamental SEO key. Structured content is more important than ever. The bot has to understand your content, and that's also a fundamental thing. Conversational language is really important. How users are using this tool, they are having a conversation. Tying to that is long-tail keywords. They will play a bigger role. When you're having a conversation, you're using long-tail keywords. Optimizing your search, and that is kind of a mix of conversational language and long-tail keywords.
Hey, the promise everyone's been making for how many years? It's finally actually happening.
And you believe it?
I actually, for the first time, like, maybe we can use voice search now.
And semantic approach to SEO will be key. That means there's going to be focus on topic and context. This new technology understands the meaning of the content. And that is something new. So, what's on the horizon? This is a new technology. This will revolutionize how we work. And Tryggvi, as you have seen, is very excited about it. And what's going to happen in the future, rather than talking about the present, like I've been at least doing for the last couple of minutes. So Tryggvi, what, oh my God, you have to see this is ahead of us for me.
Oh my God, there are so many moments. It was really hard to kind of choose down. But I'm going to share with you kind of 3 of my favorites soon to happen moments. Well, some of them have partially happened. I'm not going to really spend time on this because this is about to happen or is only happening exclusively on my computer or on my phone in a highly technical version of it. So bring your phones, and once I have all the 3, you can grab a screenshot and you can ask me about it afterwards when we're over drinks. I'm sure you're as excited as me. The first one is the merits of conversational AI, that is Chat-GPT, and text-to-voice and voice-to-text. I already have a custom app that I created on my phone where I can talk to my phone and it will translate that to text, send it over to Chat-GPT, send the answer back, and then it will read it out loud to me. So I'm already having live conversation with Chat-GPT. I do this a lot in my car. Now I don't have to call my friends to spend their time while I'm driving. I can just, I live in Hafnarfjörður. It's a long way from here. But this is fantastic, and that's why I think voice search is going to be hugely important. The second thing is something that some of you might have heard about. It's called Agent-GPT. It is when I can create, which I've already done on my computer, an instance of Chat-GPT, and I give it open access to my Chat-GPT tool online and various other tools, meaning I have a taskmaster and its slaves. So I can talk to my computer and say, hey, can you find out when this, and this person are available in their calendar, send them emails regarding this topic, and send it out for me and figure out the rest. And it will just start creating tasks, send other agents on to work on it. It will send out emails to ask them about when is your availability on Friday, when is your availability on Monday. It will just take care of everything for me. Think about that for the travel industry. Automated travel agents, automated travel bots, automated help on the websites, everything more or less automated. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit overexcited. The last thing I want to share with you, which is something that we're not really there. We've seen imaging via AI, not really perfect, but getting so much better so fast. We're about to see the AI creation of videos, merging that with AI-created ambience and music, and then AI-created voices, like my friend Davis in the cloud. Imagine what you can do with your already fantastic content. You have all these fantastic videos that you can now bring onto a higher level using AI technology, create new intros, outros, just change it in whatever ways you see fit, do voiceover, do talkovers, change it on the fly, and have AI do all the hard work. Sorry if there are any guys selling video creators and content here in the room. I'm not saying you're out of a job, but somewhat maybe soon. But it kind of brings us back to the question, because a lot of this is still like in its infant stages. Is Chat-GPT a friend or a foe? As you can, I think, hear from me, I'm literally in love with the tool, but then again, I'm in love with all these tools, more or less. What do you think, Hjalti, in terms of travel and content?
I think it will become your only friend in the future, but that's okay.
Probably.
It's a big question. I have a very short and simple answer. It depends on how we use it and when we use it, for which tasks. That's, for me, a very simple answer.
Yeah, I think that's actually spot on. As an industry, we've been creating great content. Let's keep on doing that. And let's always remember the AI is spitting out words, not knowledge. That's your job. Thank you for having us here today. Have a fantastic rest of the day. And I'm looking forward to talking to you about all the nerdy things after the event today.
Thank you.